everyone. Welcome back to another episode of You Can't Steal My Jesus. Today we're going to be looking at integrity. That's a big word these days. So integrity is the most respected and valuable quality of a leader. It's much easier to keep it than to recover it. Okay, so Martin Luther King said that the time is always right to do the right thing. So it feels like the world has gone crazy and integrity has just disappeared. I am amazed at what grown adults do and say to avoid facing the consequences of their crazy shenanigans. I shake my head at what I see people do to get ahead at all costs. Those costs come with devastating consequences sometimes. So we see daily reports of our country's leaders skirting issues, lying, talking out of both sides of their mouths, being accused of horrible crimes against other human beings, not honoring their marriages or their marriage beds. Even worse, some just stay quiet. They look the other way and pretend that horrible injustices or some lie isn't really happening. So what about the integrity thing when it comes to leaders? We should all strive to live with integrity. There's no doubt about that, and to set examples, good examples for others. But we do, however, hold our leaders to a higher standard. And why do we do that? I mean, we expect them to behave better, look out for people's best interest, and not seek to enrich themselves off of others' expenses. And we don't expect them to lead people astray. The Bible also holds leaders to a higher standard. So we have some verses here we'll look at that just remind us that leaders must meet in this accountability system that we have in leadership roles. So James 3:1 says, you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly. In other words, you better be speaking the truth to people. And 1 Peter 5:2 says we're not supposed to pursue dishonest gain, but we are to be eager to serve the people that we are over. We're not supposed to serve them to get rich. And Proverbs 11:3 says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. So leaders with integrity guide people, and crooked people destroy people. So the greatest test of integrity is whether we choose to do what is right, even at our own expense. When we do what is right, even if it costs us, it clears our conscience, and we're going to feel a whole bunch better about ourselves. Zig Ziglar says that integrity gives you real freedom because you have nothing to fear, since you have nothing to hide. There's a bunch of truth in that statement. So fear is the word. The fear of losing something or someone. Fear of losing reputation, fear of jail, fear of being found out, fear of looking bad, fear of failure. The fears go on. Fears of not being the richest man when they die. Okay, so, fear can make people act in very strange ways and sometimes very much out of character. Oh, and greed. Yeah, fear. Fear and greed. We're going to talk about that word later, the greed word. Okay, there is a difference between character and integrity. So character can actually be taught, while integrity comes from the heart. So integrity cannot be changed or polluted. So integrity is a heart issue. And corruption, here's another word, corruption is the exact opposite of integrity. So let's look at some Bible verses again. Proverbs 10:9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. But he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. In Proverbs 28:6, it says, better is the poor man who walks with integrity than a rich man who walks in crooked ways. Proverbs 28:18 says, he who is crooked in his ways will suddenly fall. So it's going to happen. Someday it's going to happen. Leviticus 19:11 says, you shall not steal. You shall not deal falsely. You shall not lie to one another. So if you get a chance to read a book, it's the name of it is The Day America Told the Truth. It's written by James Patterson and Peter Kim. If you can get your hand on that, it's a really good book. But they discovered through the surveys that they did that Americans are making up their own moral codes. And about 13% they just don't believe in all 10 commandments anymore. So just now, always stand up for what is right, even if you stand alone. And remember, it's hard to rebuild your reputation once it's been damaged. Okay, thanks for listening today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.